Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the older man. Yes, we're back in the new studio, Studio 2. That sounds so official, doesn't it? It's just a separate room in my home where I've set up a second studio. I've added a plant since yesterday, but improving on a few things, so it'll get better. I'm always looking for you guys to give me feedback, so of course I always take your guys' suggestion if I see it deemed fit. If you pop me a new idea, I'll go for it, man. And that's a lesson that I want you guys to learn about life, right? Don't ever get stuck in your own ideas and your own thing and you think, I'm going to do my own thing. Hey, open your ideas up to other people and it will be amazing that you might come up with some really good ones, you know? So today we're going to talk about something a little bit more novel, but it always have to be said. I'm hoping that the more women who do come across this sort of content will be able to wake up and realize that, ladies, you started this crap. Because the morning show, I saw this on another brother's channel this morning, and I thought I would add to it. Simply because what I try to do on this channel is not just to critique the problems that we have, but to offer solutions. I find that there is not a lot of solution-based information out there anymore. And if the solutions are given, it's given in a way that I don't think it gets through to women. I really don't. Because if it did, I think there would be a lot more changes much more rapidly. But in saying that, hey, listen, we're fighting against a serious media machine that keeps pushing the narrative of female empowerment and female this and female and female and female and female. It's freaking insane. So of course, women will think that they are invincible and they don't have to change for shit. I watched CNN this weekend and all I saw was just highlight after highlight of women who have achieved, who have pushed boundaries. The last one I remember yesterday, that was Sunday. There is this African lady, I think she was in Kenya, and she's a marathon runner, had a baby, and the man left her, and she ran when she was pregnant. She won her race when she was pregnant, and it was a whole big thing about how she became a great runner. And then just shortly after that, it was just one beautiful slide after the next about females and females and females. And you just say to yourself, okay, enough now. And then we look at the Olympics. Oh, don't even try to. Did you guys see the opening of the Olympics? I saw this one video here, and it's really something that shows you where we are at in our society right now. You got to see this one video. And it says, Olympics 1992, a man shooting an arrow into the flame. Olympics 2024, trans men, women, incredibly overweight, obese individuals opening the Paris Olympics. Think about that shit. The Olympics is supposed to be the highlight of the fittest, the most amazing athletes they are from around the world. And what do we get? Nothing about, oh, these are Olympians past. Look at the greats, they're still healthy. Nothing about, hey, if you stay healthy, this is who you can be. None of that.
The beheading of Mary Antoinette and Philip Catherine's depiction of Dionysus, the god of wine, sparked controversy on social media. Netizens called the ceremony disrespectful and absolute garbage. One user wrote, and I quote, "They are literally mocking the Last Supper and majority of France are followers of Christ." Cricket presenter Alan Wilkins slammed the event as the worst ever opening ceremony, writing on X, "Is this the worst ever opening ceremony of an Olympic Games? Absolute garbage to deliver to a global audience." Another user said, "The worst, period. So chaotic, messy, bland and boring. No passion at all. A bunch of robots would have done better." Some users said that while the ideas behind the acts were good, the execution was bad.
Fat, grotesquely overweight transvestites singing in a derogatory rendition of the Last Supper. I mean, I am not a religious guy, but I was offended by that, man. I bet you they dare not do something to do with Islam. Oh, that wouldn't have happened. Well, we knew what happened last time with Charlie Hebdo. Was it Charlie Hebdo? Remember that newspaper that criticize Islam and...
Masked and heavily armed, two men entered the building in the centre of the French capital late this morning and began firing. By the time they'd stopped, at least 12 people were dead. Many others were seriously injured.
But, they'll pick on Christianity because it's, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek. So what we're seeing is the massive feminization of the Western culture. And then they wonder why men are going their own way, why men are getting turned off by relationships. And that's what we're going to get into today, guys. So before we get into the first video, please give me that thumbs up. You know what I like. Help the brother out. Show some love so this algorithm will actually start pushing it out to more and more people. That's all I ask. And if you haven't been here already, hey, subscribe. That helps. That helps as well. And of course, if you want to book a session with me and have a chat, you have something on your mind, you have problems, get me over on askanolderman.com. And please join our community. Right now, it's free. Come lose some weight with me. I'm struggling, man. I've been working so bloody hard. I've been really sort of messing up, but I'm jumping back on the wagon today. And that's another lesson to you guys. Whenever you drop off the wagon when it comes to your fitness or diet, next day, jump back on. Don't beat yourself up, just jump back on. All right? So enough lessons, let's get into this session. And it was for the morning show. Mika and Joe, I think they call it the morning show. And they had a piece on why men are no longer dating. Surprise, surprise. You treat men like shit. Why would he want to date? And so we're going to dig deep into this because it's so frustrating when you listen to mainstream media shows that highlight these things. And guess who are on the panel? All women. No men whatsoever. None. You're asking questions on why men aren't interested in dating anymore, and you have a panel of 4 guests and you as a woman, and you all are trying to figure it out without asking any men. Tell me how the hell that shit makes sense. Make that make sense. So let's hear what they have to say.
Now, a growing number of younger Americans aren't dating. They're not hanging out. And no, they're not even hooking up. For so many women who want to date men, dating has become a total nightmare. And there are a number of reasons why. I'm Mika Brzezinski here with Simone Sanders Townsend, Huma Abedin, and Jen Psaki. So I have heard from a lot of young women who want to date young men that there are none. Mm-hmm. There are no guys. They're trying.
Think about what she just said. There are no guys. Think about that. She didn't say there are no eligible men that women want. She didn't say there are no men that are approaching them. What are the reasons? There are no guys. That's the statement. That's the opening statement. Make that shit make sense.
Trying to connect. They often use dating apps, but find a total lack of connection. And it seems that the men they are meeting don't really share the same priorities if they show up. And women, especially career-driven women, say the men they're meeting are more interested in sex and not looking for a deeper connection, and that it's becoming more and more of a problem. So what's changing? Because not that long ago, people used to meet each other through work, let's be honest, or through friends, maybe at a bar or in a college.
Okay, let's examine those 3 things. Work, workplace harassment. You got stories where a man sends an email, not even approach the woman, sends an email to a woman to say, hey, I would love to take you out on a date. The woman complained to HR that she was being harassed by one email from a man who said, hey, I'd love to take you out on a date. Make that make sense. Church is simply there to cater to women because they know that the women who have messed up their life, they're going to come to try to purge themselves and put on the mask of, I am now born again. Hey, pick me. I did a piece on this last week on OnlyFans girls who have all of a sudden converted to Christianity and found God. Why? Because they now hit the wall. And they've hit 30, 31, 32. And most men want to see the 18 to 21, 24-year-old girl. Number 2, they're not making any more money because OnlyFans is a saturated market. So they had to get out. And they need a man to rescue their ass. In public, she says, number 3, Oh, leave me alone is the motto. Women are incredibly insulting when a man approaches a woman in public. Why would a man approach you and get humiliated for nothing at all? And then the next day, you see some woman talking about the experience on TikTok. Why would men put themselves through that shit? Because every woman thinks she's a goddess. Every single woman. Let's continue.
College campus, and it gave people a chance to actually learn about each other, to break through the filters, to demonstrate kindness and show commitment and values, to actually earn affection. But today, so many people are living life through a screen. They're not going out nearly as much, not to church, not to movies, or even to the office. Opportunities to fall in love are falling by the wayside, meaning people are making decisions by swiping left on their smartphones rather than truly learning to connect. The highs, the lows, the disappointments, all of that stuff.
Sometimes I sound like I'm a broken record with trying to explain these things to women. Women do not swipe on the average man on apps. I've seen it demonstrated in front of me here. Women are only looking for the top 20% good-looking men. Women are now using the same metrics that men use to find a mate, good looks, to actually find their mate.
According to a recent study of people over the age of 18, those who used swipe-based dating apps experienced significantly higher rates of psychological distress, anxiety, and depression. Another study showed a link between using dating apps and experiencing loneliness, dissatisfaction with life, and this is a big one, a feeling of exclusion from the world, feeling so left out.
Think about it, right? If you're on an app as a man and you're not the best looking guy in the bunch of men that this woman is going to see on that app, you don't stand a freaking chance in hell. If you don't have the best looking pose with some sort of G-Wagon or luxury car or something nice, if you don't have that perfect square jaw, that nice cool haircut, the blue eyes and the whatever the hell that women find attractive in men, you don't stand a chance. Why? Because the apps themselves do not dictate the full measure of a man or an individual. The only thing the woman can base choosing you on is looks. That's it. Because the description itself could be just a bunch of BS, really. So all the woman is going on is looks. And so we have conditioned women to only start looking for looks in men, which is absolutely absurd. Men have never been the prettier of the two genders. Women never picked men based on looks. She always picked a man based on his prowess to protect her and to provide for her. Looks was never a measure of a man. Nowadays, women are conditioned to think that, oh, if he don't look good, oh, he's mid-ugly. He's this. I mean, I hear some terms from men right now that you'd say, and men are not the ones putting on makeup.
Celebrities you've never seen without makeup. Taylor Swift. Cardi B. Miley Cyrus. Rihanna. Kim Kardashian. Katy Perry. Ariana Grande. Ice Spice. Megan Thee Stallion.
The problem is most women are average. Most women are catfishing men on a daily basis, simply because they're not what they are underneath. They're wearing masks. So men know that being on the apps are a waste of time.
And when women do go to coffee shops, what we're hearing is that they try, or to a club or the grocery store, or anything where they get out and interact with people, they say the men that they want to meet just don't share their ideals.
That's such a pile of crap. Think about it. If I'm a multi-millionaire, which neighborhoods am I going to be in? I'm going to be in upscale neighborhood. The average woman don't live in an upscale neighborhood. So when I go to the supermarket, when I go out and do my thing, when I go to eat, when I go out to play golf, when I go out to hang out with my buddies in my upscale salon to get my hair done, to smoke my cigar, etc., I'm not where a lot of average women hang out. In my heyday, I played at the Ritz-Carlton. I played at the top end of the market. Those women had to pretend to get there for me. When I played golf, I lived on a golf estate, Britannia back in Cayman, back in the day. Women used to learn how to play golf to get there so that they can meet men like me. Yeah, I've scaled back. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm trying to tell you, a woman going to the supermarket, they are not going to meet the man that they want. They're going to meet the average, normal dude, blue-collar worker, the average office worker that's going to be in that supermarket. And those women do not want those men. That's the biggest problem, because online, she gets too much attention and she feels like she's the bomb.
It's partly because so many young men are spending their lives also logged in, overly influenced by a flood of whatever you can find online: porn, video games, toxic masculinity. Who needs the real thing when you can get some?
How the hell did she just throw toxic masculinity into what? Into what men are doing? Jesus. You hear the message that women are hearing here? It's not your fault, ladies. It's not your fault.
You can get something better, and I put that in quotes, by scrolling. Here's what Scott Galloway, professor of marketing at NYU, told us on Morning Joe about some of the reasons why men are becoming like this.
I think you have the most talented, well-resourced people in the world and companies trying to convince a young man that he can have a reasonable facsimile of life in his basement behind a screen. You don't need friends. Go on Reddit or Discord. You don't need to get a job. Go on Robinhood or Coinbase and trade crypto and stocks. You don't need to go through the rejection and the expense and the humiliation and working out and having a plan and humor and showering to get a romantic relationship. You have YouPorn. So we have an entire generation, especially of young men, who are out home sequestering from society and missing out on what it means. There's a reason romantic comedies are 2 hours and not 15 minutes. True victory in life is hard. Going out, meeting someone, finding mentors, finding mates, that stuff is hard, but that's what real victory in real life is like. And because a lot of men feel rejected on dating apps, the number of jobs that are accessible to them has gone down. You have essentially a group of men who are saying, I want a low-risk entry into life, and they go down a rabbit hole. When they don't have social connections, and they don't get out, and they don't have the prospect of a romantic relationship, they're more prone to conspiracy theory, they're more prone to misogynistic content, they're less likely to believe in climate change, and some they become really bad citizens. We are producing too many of the most dangerous person in the world, and that is a young, broke, and lonely young man.
Yeah. That's the problem. That is the problem. Where are the solutions? Please tell me the solutions. Everybody's talking about the problems. Where the hell are the solutions? One big solution is, the biggest problem is dating apps. If the apps causes so much depression and delusion and all the things, the negative parts that she said, we should just close them down. Encourage people to stop using them, because they're obviously not functioning in the right way for the majority of people. And it's only making the majority of people depressed, insecure, feel lesser than themselves. But he's right. Mr. Scott Galloway is completely correct. You think that a teenager, 20 years old, thinks that he should take out former U.S. president? You think he has anything else going for him? You don't think that, hey, if I shoot the president, I'm just going to live happily ever after? No, that is a young man that is at the end. He has no hope in life. And he's saying, I'm just going to go out in a blazing glory. That's it. That's a man without a freaking purpose. And he found his final one. That's what we're creating. A bunch of very dangerous men. A man without purpose is a very dangerous person.
Wow. As Professor Galloway pointed out, 1 in 3 relationships used to begin at work. Now young people are not going into the office as often. And if you are a young man at work, are you more or less inclined to express some sort of romantic interest in a potential partner now than you were 40 years ago? The answer is clearly no.
BS. Jesus. Now, not going. Me Too. Think about it. Me Too. The Me Too movement has screwed up any office romance. Who brought that crap up? Women. Men are now afraid to even mentor other women.
Listen to this. A side result, an unintended consequence of the Me Too movement has popped up. Male executives and managers, some are now saying they are afraid to work with and mentor female colleagues in the workplace. So we're trying to find out, is it too hard to see the difference between mentoring and harassment?
A large percentage of male managers were concerned about working with women one-on-one in the workplace. They were concerned about mentoring women. They were saying they were afraid to have meetings with women, to travel with women, and so on. It indicates that there are anxieties and fears that we need to address.
So now men are incredibly cautious because we are now in an era where men are guilty until proven innocent. Now, no one talks about the consequences of the Me Too movement. Everybody just thinks all these women are concerned about is, oh, we used to meet at the office. Oh, there were office romances are dead. Men have killed it. No, men didn't kill it. You did. Because a woman can get a big paycheck now, all she has to accuse any man. If she wants his position, she's competing with him in the workplace. And she wants his position. All she needs is half an hour, 20 minutes with that guy alone to come out with an accusation. HR has to then dismiss him on paid leave. Everybody in the organization is now talking about, well, you know, I remember when he looked at me in a really creepy way last week, and oh, I knew he was like that. Oh, I heard something about him. Oh, I heard that his ex-girlfriend, she was molested. You're gonna hear all kind of shit about that man now. That man's reputation is now destroyed. Two things will happen. He will ultimately get fired, or it has been proven that the woman was lying. But either way, reputation destruction, the man is finished. The man is finished professionally. This incident will go with him for life. Up until that day that he decided to talk to that woman in a professional manner, not knowing that this woman was trying to get his job, that this woman was so devious. He was quite happy. He had his car, he had his little mortgage, he had his 2 kids, he had his nice wife. All of that destroyed. Why? Because some woman wants his position, or she has a bee in her bonnet about something else. All it takes is an accusation. So guess what? Men are saying, hell no. Nope, nope, nope. To hell with that shit. I don't even want to see a woman in the workplace. That's where we're at in the dating market, at work, okay?
How we got here, having said that, the unforeseen consequences of the Me Too movement, or of Me Too in general, and the problems that began the movement, that's a show we need to do at some point. And we have to have a really honest conversation about that. But that's not this show. Kind of a hard start. Jen, why don't you start? What are the biggest concerns you have here?
Yeah, look, Mika, first of all, I met my husband at work at the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. He asked me out over email and brought me ice cream. It was a much more traditional way of meeting someone. Look, I think the biggest concern I have here is the mental health impact on young people. And we've seen that in statistics and a ton of reporting about the disconnect. And you just went over a fair amount of it for men, certainly, and also for women. And I just think anecdotally of talking to a lot of women I work with, who I have the pleasure of working with on my team, they, you know, men and women have been wanting to just have sex for decades, right? That's not new. I think they're still probably they're hooking up still, right? But it's more about that deeper connection. And as Scott said, relationships are work. Emotional connections are work, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever it may be, or a mentor relationship. And there's such a cotton candy aspect of the world we're living in right now that's also a fantasy world, right? You mentioned porn.
And who created that world? Who created that world? Women created that world. My body, my choice. Sexual liberation. Cotton candy. I'm going to give out this punani to all the men that I would like to give it out to, and you should not have any say in that, men. It's my body, and you should never shame a woman for giving her body to whoever she wants to give it to. Cotton candy. That's what cotton candy is. You women are giving out the candy to every single Tom, Dick, and Harry that you want. And then you worrying, or now you concerned that men don't want anything serious? Really? You think a man wants to marry a cotton candy girl? No! He wants to marry a serious girl. Give me a steak and potato girl, man. Give me a chicken and rice girl. I don't want any cotton candy girl. I don't want any woman that has been passed around to hundreds of men before she now ends up with me. I've done many videos on this. Men don't want that. I don't want to drag this out too long. But ladies, here is the problem, and I will provide you with the solution because that's what I like to do on this channel. The problem is you have made yourself sexually accessible to way too many men. You are blind to the fact that men do not want sexually explicit women. Number 2 problem, you have created many barriers for men to actually approach you. And now you're complaining because men are respecting those barriers. You have made it almost a national sport to humiliate and to embarrass and to lock up men for trivial things based on your emotional roller coaster. Men are no longer looking to take that risk. You understand? The juice is not worth the squeeze. Every single young man knows that expression and knows exactly what it means. Number 4, you have made the marriage laws so lopsided in favor of women. Men no longer want to take the chance of getting married because 80 to 90% of the time women leave, and most of you are getting divorces 50 to 60% of the time. That is not a risk men are willing to take. Men are risk avert. They do not want to risk the money that they work their asses off for to be taken from him from a jaded woman. Number 6, women are waiting too long to get married. They are pushing their careers before they're looking at a man. So the choices that men have is a middle-aged woman who don't need him but still require him to pay the massive amount of bills because her money is her money and his money is also her money. There is no benefit at all to men in the Western Hemisphere. None whatsoever. And that's the reason why so many women are losing their men to other nations that are much more conservative in the way they look at life. How do you solve it? Women have to come back to the center. They have to rein it back in. They have to understand that, hey, ladies, if you want a man who is stronger, dominant, etc., you have to rein back this whole this push on feminism. Mothers, you have to start raising your kids and your girls to understand that men choose relationships. Men choose relationships. Women give access to sex. You've heard it here hundreds and thousands of times and all over the internet millions of times. You all know this. So if the men aren't choosing the woman, it technically tells you that there's something wrong with the woman. Men don't see the motivation to choose you. It is not the man's fault. If I went to the store and I didn't see what I want, I'm not buying anything. But you ladies want us to just buy something for the sake of buying something? Hell no. That thing that I buy might be poisonous for me. It's not good. I'm not buying something that I do not want. So understand that you are pushing an agenda that does not benefit men in the slightest. There is no benefit to marrying a Western woman. You all have to change, or nothing will change. It will just keep getting worse. You have to understand that, ladies. Keep your legs closed. Don't carry until you marry. Realize that average men are just like you. Most of you are average women. Learn to work with a man to build a life together. Stop looking for the top men who have already made it. Those men don't want you. But most of you are asking for the top 10% man when most of you are just average women. Most of you are broke. Most of you have student loans. Most of you are coming into a marriage with nothing. Understand that your accolades, your education does not make you a better wife. It just makes you an overbearing, masculine woman who thinks that every man should bow down to you. But you're learning now that your career and your degrees is not what makes you sexy, not what makes you a good woman. And lastly, understand that you are not a man. Don't expect your man to act like you and to conform to your feelings, and don't try to be a man. You need to find a way to get back into your feminine state. Most women have lost it. Most women have no idea what it is. You have to re-educate yourself, ladies. It's as simple as that. So my friends, until next time, listen, give me a thumbs up on this message if you agree. If you don't agree, hit that thumbs up button twice, 2 times. And that will make me know that you really hate it. Okay, my friends, until next time, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.